My name is Jenn Mitchell, and some of you might recognize my voice because I report the news for MHXRadio.com and for ThunderRockRadio.com, our friends up in Canada. I'm also a mother. I also do fine art and I do graphic design. And for those of you who might be familiar with my radio show, RockGasms, I never use that show as a platform to discuss any sort of politics or even so much as to give my opinion mostly on music. Sometimes I will mention something about a band that I like, but I would never ever diss the music because without the music and the musicians' contributions, I wouldn't have a show. I wouldn't have a platform at all. It never made any sense to me to slam the musicians that would come on my show or just music that I would feature in general because I'm very grateful for it. I think for many of us, we use music as therapy. I know I certainly do. Gets you through the good times and the bad, and I'm not telling you people anything that you don't already know or don't embrace in your own lives. My shows are produced by me, and there's a lot of shenanigans that go on in them. Some editing goes on and what have you, but this is just me straight off the cuff, and I guess I'm in a place right now in kind of a weird funk with a lot of what's been going on with social media, stories that are in the news, killings, terrorist attacks, and just general ugliness that I'm seeing online. Some of it's been directed towards me, a lot of it directed towards other, and just this infighting and outfighting. And geez, I'm just not even in a good headspace anymore, it seems. It's just very depressing to be on social media. With the launch of this new YouTube channel, which features the best of shows between John Basaha, who's the lead singer of the Babies, and myself, I suppose I could also use this platform that I'm grateful to have to just kind of discuss how I feel about things from time to time and put up these videos. And if you take the time to stop and listen to them, I really, really appreciate that. I'm certainly not the voice of the end all be all of knowing everything that there is to know on the planet, but I do know a few things for myself. And that's a great thing about this country is we all have the right to choose, right to our own thoughts. I look at myself as a law-abiding citizen rather, and I might not always agree with every law that's on the books, and I don't think any of us truly follow it to the letter, or at least agree with it to the letter, but nonetheless, we're supposed to be following it by the letter, to the T, because I don't want to get into trouble. Trouble usually legally also requires a big price tag attached to it, and let's just be honest, I can't afford that sort of thing. I would never encourage people to break the law. I would never do it myself. That's just the way I was raised. But the amount of ugliness that I had spoken to a little bit earlier, the amount of ugliness that I keep seeing online is just unnecessary. I'm not here to preach to people. I'm not here to try and change minds. I guess I just needed some sort of outlet for this funk that I am in, especially this time of year with the holidays. I mean, scrolling through social media today and watching the footage of people on Black Friday is just, I guess that's some of my disgust right there. Is I never thought Christmas or any holiday was an opportunity to behave that way, driven by commercial things and what we can give to other people to put ourselves further in debt just to try and be nice. I guess I've always been the type of person that if I don't have it to give monetarily, I will offer other ways to do that. So I'm lucky in the fact that I've got some talent with art, and so I usually end up making a lot of art or craft projects or whatever for people. And I don't know, for me, receiving a gift like that was made by someone's two hands is, even if it's not the best, who am I to judge, right? It just shows the thought that went into that. And I guess my thought with the whole Christmas thing is just, to me, it was never about trampling people in shopping malls and trying to outdo the next person, the whole keeping up with the Joneses thing. It's, does the person feel loved? Do they feel wanted? Do they feel like they matter? Getting a homemade gift from my daughter tells me that right there. Just having my daughter tells me that right there, to be honest with you. I sat back today and I watched the full-length video on Vice.com of the Eagles of Death Metal interview, and was really rattled to the core because it was very clear to see in all of their eyes how much that affected them. And I can't even begin to imagine what it would be like to actually have been there when the nightclub was stormed by terrorists and the guns that were going off, and some people thought they were bombs, some said they were suicide vests. Regardless, the whole situation was very, very disturbing, and unfortunately not likely to end anytime soon. I sit here and I wonder a lot of times if the forefathers got it right with everyone having the right to bear arms. I don't know. I guess my response to that would be when we live in a society where over 3 million people are diagnosed with mental illnesses, a lot of that being depression, bipolar, that really worries me in terms of should these people have rights to have guns? Do you feel safe knowing that someone who's maybe unstable can't handle the responsibility of a gun? I know some people are going to object and say, well, maybe they shouldn't have a car then, because cars can kill people. Maybe they shouldn't have knives, steak knives even, because that kills people. Yeah, those are all really good points, but something has to give. Something has to change. I'm not suggesting at all that people take away all the guns. That would never happen. That's like trying to say, oh, we're just not going to have any drugs anymore. If people want it bad enough, they're going to find a way to have it and to get it and to use it. And a lot of times for violent reasons. But I'm just really floored by everything that's going on. And I don't know always where to put my thoughts. Sometimes I channel it through listening to music. Sometimes through artwork. I try to have adult, civilized conversations with people that are like-minded to my own thoughts, and also have discussed, the same topics with people that don't have the same mindset as me, and that never turns out well. It's to the point where I feel like I can't talk to people who have opposing views without them immediately going for the jugular, immediately with the name calling and the you're a pansy liberal, you're a tree hugger, you're a bleeding heart, you're a libtard, etc., etc., etc. Where does that get anybody in terms of communicating and problem solving? There is a problem here. I'm struggling to find the solution. I hope that this didn't come off too preachy. I'm sure that there's a lot more things that I would like to say right now, but I think my final thought is to kind of leave you with, what do you think the solution would be? You can comment below this video and tell me what your thoughts are on that. How do we solve all this ugliness that's going on? How do we solve what's really going on to stop this sort of violence? What are your solutions? Real, practical solutions. Not idealistically, but realistically. I like to base myself in realism. Sure, we'd all love to get along in a world. Sure, we all, most of us embrace peace, embrace love, and want to live by that. But the truth is, not everybody has that philosophy. And it's how do we bridge the people that are one set of rules on this to the others who have a different set of rules on this, where we're not seeing all of this killing, all of this violence, all of this anger, all of this angst, all of this random going off on people who a lot of times you don't even know, will never meet in your lifetime. What's the solution here? Because I'm lost.